Good morning everybody. Yesterday I recorded the Fat Busters Nutrition Seminar for you, part 1 and part 2. This morning I've stumbled across an article in the Reader's Digest magazine, January 2012, written by a Dr. John Briffa, and it is fantastic. It's all about why hormones are pivotal, why they're key in you dropping fat. It's not about calories in versus calories out, which I obviously explained to you in the Fat Busters Nutrition Seminar. I concentrated on the hormone cortisol, the stress hormone, but every single hormone in your body is key in helping you lose fat, okay? If one hormone is out of whack, then another hormone will not work effectively. So by eating clean, hydrating yourself, decreasing your stress, taking up regular low cardio, highly intense workouts, you will maximize your fat loss and improve your health for the long term. So here goes. Reader's Digest, why diets don't work. How often have you felt that you're in a losing battle with your weight? Even though you're assured the solution to your diet problems is simple, just eat less and exercise more. This advice certainly seems to make sense. The trouble is, quite apart from our collective experience, a stack of studies confirm that applying the calorie principle hardly ever brings satisfying, sustained weight loss. The fact that diets don't work is often assumed to be down to our personal failings, but science shows that conventional weight loss advice usually dooms us to failure by causing the body to resist our efforts and defend its weight. The same science, though, reveals a path to weight loss success, and one that requires none of the calorie restriction, extensive exercise, or hunger typical of traditional approaches. So what is the secret? The burning issue. Eating less may be a key message of traditional weight loss advice, but this ultimately puts a brake on the metabolism. Not only can this make weight loss slow going, but it is often causes it to stall at a level far higher than desired, the dreaded plateau. Some claim we can counter this by upping our aerobic exercise efforts. In reality though, activities such as brisk walking and running burn quite small numbers of calories and tend to make us hungrier too. And this sharpening of the appetite, of course, only adds to the heightened hunger that comes as a result of consciously cutting back on calories. It's not so much that diets don't work, more that they can't work. The fat controller. Another feature of calorie-based approaches is that they tend to lead us to spurn dietary fat in favour of carbohydrate. On the face of this, it seems like a good ploy, given that a gram of fat contains about twice the calories found in a gram of carbohydrate. But biochemistry reveals that foregoing of fat can backfire and actually jeopardise our weight loss efforts. The propensity of a food to fatten is not solely determined by its calorie content, but its effect on key hormones. A central player here is insulin. As I said, I concentrated on cortisol, but this article is concentrating on the hormone insulin. This hormone facilitates the taking up and storage of fat in the fat cells, and it also inhibits fat release. In short, insulin is fattening. Of the three macronutrients, carbohydrate, protein and fat, it's carbohydrate that causes the most insulin secretion. Disruptive foods in this respect are those with added sugar, as well as starchy staples such as bread, potatoes, rice, pasta and breakfast cereals. Foods traditionally emphasised on reduced calorie, low fat, weight loss diets. And this is why, guys, that these foods, apart from potatoes in small amounts rather, are banned from the Fat Busters Clean program in the first 28 days. Crucially, white carbohydrate is the prime driver of insulin. Fat has little, if any, effect here. What this means is that for a given number of calories, fat-rich diets have the potential to control weight better than those based on carbohydrates. Evidence for this comes in the form of several studies revealing that high-fat diets induce weight loss more effectively than those rich in carbs. This may appear counterintuitive to some, but it's biochemical law that scaling back on sugar and starchy carbs will lower insulin levels, allowing fat to flow out of the fat cells. But weight loss is not the only benefit of eating fewer carbs. Even though you need to restrict your carbs, guys, especially the bad carbs, they should be banned altogether, you still need carbohydrates because the body runs on glycogen, which is energy. The body's form of energy, and this energy is got from carbohydrates in the main. Okay, so it's never about cutting out one whole type of food, guys. You have to have a balanced plate of carbs, protein and fats. You shouldn't restrict one over another. However, you do need to make good choices and cut out the bad carbs and eat more of the good carbs like the vegetables. Okay, satisfaction guaranteed. Fat liberated through lowered insulin levels can be burned for fuel, and in this way represents food to the body, just like the fat that feeds a hibernating bear. This ability of liberated fat to feed us helps explain why, when individuals adopt a diet low in carbohydrates, they often spontaneously eat several hundred calories less each day than they ordinarily would, but without increasing appetite. Plus, a lower carb diet will contain proportionally more protein, and this macronutrient, protein, is known to satisfy hunger more effectively than either carbohydrate or fat, and I explained this to you in the Fat Busters nutrition seminar. Protein, like carbohydrates, stimulates insulin secretion, though to a lesser degree. Crucially though, unlike carbohydrate, it also triggers the release of the hormone glucagon, one effect of which is to stimulate the release of fat from the fat cells. So glucagon reduces the fat-forming effects of insulin and also sends to the brain the full up trigger, so you will stop eating brain food. There are yet more benefits to a diet emphasizing fat and protein that relate to another critical hormone in body weight regulation. This is leptin. Leptin is secreted by fat cells and acts on a part of the brain known as the hypothalamus to speed the metabolism and suppress appetite. In theory, as we put on weight, more leptin is secreted to stop the rot. However, if for any reason leptin fails to do its job properly, the body can lose its natural ability to regulate weight. Some researchers believe that this state, referred to as leptin resistance, is a potent cause of obesity. Leptin resistance can be caused by inflammation in the hypothalamus. Of critical importance here is the fact that spikes in blood sugar levels encourage inflammation. So what they're saying is, don't eat insulin spiking food, which, as you remember, these are white carbohydrates, rice, pasta, breakfast cereals, processed foods, cakes, crisps, chocolate, all that sort of thing. They all spike insulin, guys. So if you don't eat them, you won't spike insulin, and then you won't become leptin resistant, and you won't inflame your hypothalamus, which is key into controlling all your hormones. The foods most likely to induce these spikes are those with added sugar as well as starchy carbs, which I've just said. The very same foods that cause most secretion of fat-making insulin. Also, these foods boost levels of blood fats known as triglycerides, which evidence suggests impair leptin's ability to make its way into the brain. By inducing leptin resistance, a carb-rich diet can lead to sluggish metabolism and heightened hunger. This is not an ideal state of affairs for someone seeking to lose weight and keep it off. Of course, a diet more restricted in carbs puts all this in reverse, thereby speeding the metabolism, curbing the appetite. Now we're talking. Staying on track. This sort of diet is not really a diet at all, more a healthy way of eating that has proven benefits not just in terms of weight loss, but also disease markers, including blood pressure and blood fat and blood sugar levels. By eating a clean diet, guys, like I explained to you in the Fat Busters Nutrition Seminar, you will be keeping all of your hormones in balance. So even though it's great for you to know all of this information, you don't need to worry about what your hormones are doing if you balance them. So if you eat a clean diet, you give your body nutritious food, this will all be sorted out for you. There's no need to be all or nothing. It's what you eat most of the time, not some of it, that determines your success in the long term. So don't beat yourself up over slip-ups and indulgences. Put them into the context of your diet as a whole and see them pale into insignificance. So this was written by Dr. John Briffa, drbriffa.com, in the January 2012 Reader's Digest magazine. Okay, why the snack attack? On traditional diets, snacks are banned or limited to a piece of fruit. The problem is little or nothing between meals, particularly between lunch and dinner, can leave us famished and not in the best state to make healthy eating choices. Once the appetite runs out of control, the drive is to make poor choices and to overeat. Keeping hunger at bay is what makes healthy eating easy. Paradoxical though it may sound, the less hungry you are, the more weight you're likely to lose. Snacking has a part to play, but fruit is not the ideal snack at all. Firstly, it's generally sugar rich. Secondly, for most people it fails to satisfy the appetite and so does not tide us over to the next meal. Nuts make a better snack. They won't disrupt hormone balance like fruit, and they do a much better job of filling you up. Well guys, this is why I tell you that when you do have a snack of fruit, to always eat a handful of nuts as well, because you then don't get the insulin, the sugar going into the bloodstream to spike your insulin levels. Okay, so it stops that spike. There will be a spike because there is a spike every time you eat, but the spike will be reduced because you're also eating healthy fats at the same time. Okay, so when you have a snack, a piece of fruit and a handful of nuts will be great. That's the best solution. Okay, so what to eat? Healthy breakfasts are traditionally based on cereals and perhaps wholemeal toast, but the propensity of such foods to cause surges to insulin and disrupt leptin make them nutritionally disaster areas. A better option would be, say, some Greek yogurt, probiotic, with nuts, e.g. almonds and walnuts, and some fruit. Berries are best on account of their low sugar and highly nutritious nature. Eggs are also a great breakfast option, particularly if coupled with some smoked salmon and tomato or wilted spinach. Sandwiches are off the menu at lunch and are ideally replaced with meat, fish or an omelette with salad and or cooked vegetables. Olive oil based salad dressing and butter on your vegetables are fine. This same format should be used for dinner. Other options include hearty soups, stews and casseroles, perhaps accompanied by more salad or veg, and of course guys, all homemade, so you know what goes into it, that there's no nasty MSGs and aspartame and loads of other horrible nasties in there. Okay, so that's it for this nutritional update on hormones and why they are key in your fat loss. So I will speak to you soon, guys. Have a good day.